This episode of No Gods, No Filter is brought to you by Hellraiser Audio, right here in Austin, Texas. Whether you're launching a podcast or laying down tracks, Hellraiser has everything you need. From pro gear to top-tier mixing, it's where chaos meets creation. We record at Hellraiser, and once you do, you'll get it. Follow the Razor Blade on Instagram and hit up Hellraiser Audio to raise hell and record here. What's up, motherfuckers? This is No Gods, No Filter. I'm Whitney Josephine with my co-host
Mallory. Hi. Princess.
Princess.
Hello, princesses. How is everybody's beautiful day as a princess?
Today on the podcast, we have Frank and Erika Ball sharing a love story.
Oh my God. It's like people in love, and you can just see that they're so in love. It's our first married couple.
She was like on it differently, so I couldn't readjust the volume.
Oh, yeah.
She was on it differently.
We'll start again. Yeah, because
Talk.
She was quiet.
Yeah, because she was tinier and quiet. Can you hear me? Reporting live from Mickey Mouse Kingdom. Can you hear me? Popcorn. Red Bull.
Okay, I think you're good to go.
Okay.
Okay. ¿Qué pasa, putanos? Mi llamo es Whitney with my co-host
Mallory. Hello.
Hello. And today we have Erika and Frank Ball on the podcast. Frank is a local tattoo artist here in Austin, and he comes along with his beautiful, stunning, fucking fantastic wife, Erika.
They're the coolest. And they're our first married couple. Mm-hmm. Brendan and I don't count. But they're our first fully... just never met them before. Mm-hmm. Loveliest people ever.
Yeah, we're so thankful that they came on the podcast today.
Yeah.
They share their story about sobriety. We talk a bit about tattooing. Erika shares about burlesque and some details on that. Mm-hmm. They touch base on their nonprofit organization called We Are Those People.
We Are Those People. And we're going to plug all their stuff. They just have so many things that they touch on that are interesting and inspiring, and they talk about their love story and how they really found each other when they really needed each other.
That's great.
And they saved each other, honestly.
Yeah. Super thankful to have them on the podcast. And as always, follow NGNF pod on Instagram.
Email us.
DTF.
We are exhausted. Red Bull is not giving us wings right now, y'all. Please sponsor us, by the way.
Please follow us, like, subscribe. Let us know what you think of the episode below. Find us on Instagram, ngnf.pod.
Email us at nogodsnofilter@gmail.com.
And let's fucking get into it.
Let's do it.
Your mother's a water-town whore.
Let me get a lighter. Just bang a fucking Yui guy.
No Gods, No Filter.
All right, thank you.
Go for it. Did you get your video?
Yeah.
A little bit.
Okay, cool.
Cool. Okay, now we're officially starting. What's up?
Hey, guys. We are joined today by some talented, we just learned neighbors. I'm so glad to be y'all's neighbors. This is awesome. We've got Frank and Erika Ball with us.
Yeah.
Our first married couple.
This is our first duo, actually, too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
this is
we're
amazing,
stoked on
you
that.
guys.
No, seriously, we're really so flattered, and thank you so much. How did you tell me again how you heard about the podcast?
You know, I just happened on you. I think we just kind of
Cross paths.
crossed. I think you liked the photo or something, and then I looked and I think
down
I
the rabbit
commented
hole.
on something you posted, and then you asked me about the if I'd like to be on the podcast, and I was like, yeah, if I can bring my wife.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Of course.
We're stoked that
She makes
she's
me look
here.
good, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, Erika, you're so beautiful. You are.
I
You're
know.
stunning.
Oh my
Frank,
God.
you're okay, but Erika, you're so beautiful.
Thank you.
We were just watching, Erika has a TED Talk that you did. How many years ago was it?
Yeah, that was actually during the pandemic. It was actually during the shutdown. And I guess 5 years ago?
Yeah.
2020.
It's wild to think that was that long ago.
I know.
Right?
I know, it's like a different
I know.
world. And you were you less tattooed then? Or it was just hidden under your beautiful suit?
Yeah, it was hidden.
Yeah,
it was hidden. Yeah.
Surprise.
Yeah.
And you talked about your journey with sobriety and your upbringing and your advocacy work that you guys do now,
Yeah.
which is so inspiring. Can you talk about it a
You
little
have
bit?
like 10 years of sobriety now?
I'm coming up on 10 years. In October, I'll have 10 years of sobriety.
Very good. Frank,
Thank you.
Are you sober as well?
10 years sober
10
on
years.
July 12th.
Very good. That's
Yeah.
fucking awesome.
Yeah.
That's amazing, you guys.
We actually met when we were both in treatment.
Perfect.
actually.
Wow. I was wondering how y'all met.
treatment love story.
Literally
I
found love in a hopeless
couple of
place.
those, yeah.
Did you
Always-
guys,
yeah.
were you in treatment in Boston or here in Austin? or?
Costa Mesa, California.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah.
Dang, I know
Yeah.
Costa Mesa, and that's
but
exactly
actually-
why I know Costa Mesa.
I was working in,
No, I
we
know a
weren't in
couple
the
people
same
that were.
treatment facility, but we were in treatment at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I was working at a tattoo shop down there, and she came in and
you
made
go-
an appointment.
Yeah,
To get tattooed?
I made I was living in Dallas.
Okay.
And I ended up in Costa Mesa for treatment, and I just walked down the street. I didn't know anybody. I didn't know the city, and I was like, I gotta get a tattoo. You know.
It's like therapy.
Yeah, it kind
When
of,
you don't know
right?
what you want to do, you're like, I should probably get one. A tattoo or a haircut. You
Get
know?
a tattoo.
Don't get banged.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
I've done that. Like
We're still growing them out.
all the different colors, all the different
Yeah.
haircuts. So I went down to the tattoo shop, and I met him, and I was like, I actually like really, I thought he was really hot, and I was like,
Oh man.
but I was also trying to get sober, and
Yeah.
I was like, I cannot be messing around with like anything other than my recovery.
Don't
Totally.
they say that like in your like first year of recovery, it's important to like stay single
Yes.
and focus on
Not
yourself?
make any big choices. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I walked away, and I made an appointment, and then the appointment came around. I was like, I'm not going. I
Yeah, she
can't.
flaked.
I
She
cannot
flaked on me.
Did
You were
she
like-
no-show you?
You had to charge her
but I'll
$25.
be honest with you. I mean, on a spiritual level, I mean, I was trying to sell her a tattoo and be professional, and then I looked at her and she was staring at me with those green eyes, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh man!"
Damn, I'm in
I
trouble.
felt like I knew, like it was a sign, like something in my life was about to change.
Yeah.
And then when she didn't show up for her appointment, I was kind of blue. I was like, "Oh, she didn't show up." But then a few weeks later, I graduated to my IOP, which is intensive outpatient.
Wow.
Normally you do detox, inpatient, then outpatient, intensive outpatient, and she was working at the front desk.
I was the receptionist there.
Oh my God, that's literally like invisible string.
Yeah.
You're pulled together.
Yeah, really though.
And then
So
she
it was
ended
a
up
conflict
coming
of
in.
interest. So we had to be anonymous. We had to be secretly dating each other,
Yeah.
grown ass adults,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
pretending like we didn't know each other.
They Mallory and her husband had to secretly date each other too.
It wasn't like punishable by like losing program allowances.
No.
Just keeping it from our friends because it was kind of hot. I guess
They all lived in the
Ooh.
same house
That's
together.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's kind of a fun way to start, though. You're like, this is secret. This is exciting.
Yeah.
It's dangerous. A little bit. You know what I mean?
So after you met each other, how did you guys end up in Austin?
Well, it's really interesting because we met at the same place in our lives.
yeah.
Eric and I are the same age.
Oh,
and we
that's
both had blown up our lives, you know what I mean? And then found each other.
Oh, it's like meant to be. Fully. I fully believe that.
I mean, I don't mean to sound corny, but it was pretty
Yeah.
spiritual.
Yeah,
And,
of course.
So we got married. Well, I was fighting a case for 10 years. I beat that case, and I took her right down to the courthouse and married her. Oh my God. You know what I mean? Because I still was like, I don't know if I'm going
Yeah,
to
it was
prison.
6
I
months after we met. And I also like, I always say like I had nothing to lose and everything, you know, nothing and everything to lose.
Yeah. And it's like you knew. You're like, I
Yes.
know this person is for me, and there's no question. Like, doesn't matter 6 months or 6 years before you get
Exactly.
married,
Well,
right?
also like how incredible that your paths crossed when you were, sober versus if your paths crossed when you were actively
that would
using.
not have been good.
That would have
It
been
wouldn't have worked.
a
That would be a
dumpster
different
fire.
story.
No.
You probably still would have taken her to the
That would be
courthouse,
not a good
but
story.
That would have been different.
So we got married, and we, everything just, man, I mean, I hate to sound corny, but it was like we just kept getting blessed.
Yeah.
Things just kept going really good for us. And she got her bachelor's.
Yeah.
Which I'd been trying to get for like 20 years.
Hell
and
yeah.
I was like, finally, imagine that. I got sober and I was able to finish my education.
Yeah. Weird how that works out, right? Yeah.
That was the first time my probation officer let me leave California, was to come watch her graduate in Dallas.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because Erica's from Texas. So.
Okay. Awesome.
And,
You're the only OG here.
She grew up in Corpus Christi.
Nice.
Okay.
But so, that was my first taste of Texas. Came out here, and then my children, of course, all grew up. They were all didn't want to hang out with me much. They're all adults. And then I got off probation, and Erika really wanted to come back and spend more time with her parents, and we'd already been married 4 or 5 years now.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
So
Very good.
I have a lot of friends here in Austin that are, in the tattoo community or in the music community. And it just worked out. I came and did a guest spot out here like we do. I tattooed at Keith Underwood's shop and at a shop on 6th Street. And
Cool.
Very good.
it was just banging down there on 6th Street. And that was kind of
You're like, the energy is good here.
it was cracking, yeah. And
Well,
then I
also a
started doing my
while
own
ago.
homework.
Yeah.
Back to the conversation of Austin and Texas.
Yeah.
To compared to California, the numbers and the quality of living, and I was like, all right, let's give it a try. And
got something
everything
here,
just
yeah.
worked out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Beautifully.
That's
and,
awesome.
Yeah.
Are your do you still have family in Corpus?
Yeah, so I have my both of my parents live in Kyle. My sister lives in Buda, and my brother lives in Bernie, which is really close,
Yeah.
San
Totally.
Antonio.
Everybody's so close. That's so nice.
Yeah.
So you can have fun big holidays.
Yeah. We have,
Yeah, she's
we
got a
have
lot of
holidays,
nephews.
yeah.
Very good.
And Erica's from Paraguay, Argentina.
Okay.
Well, my parents are.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You were born here, though?
I was born in the United States.
Okay.
Yeah, Virginia.
Nice.
But I saw
Yeah.
that your first language wasn't English.
Yes, it was
Correct.
Spanish. So yeah.
Can Frank speak Spanish? Can you speak?
I speak
Speaks
Los
slang
Angeles.
a little bit.
yeah,
I
street
grew up,
Spanish.
I grew up very Mexican. My first 2 wives were Mexican. All my children are half Mexican. But like I said, when I laid eyes on her green eyes, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I got a fancy
He's
Hispanic.
like,
I've been married.
"Diablo."
But say her nephews, they're all such beautiful boys. She has a beautiful family. Her dad's a doctor. He got his. That was for me. When I met Erika, I met her brother. I was like, she came from a really good family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
That's so
I felt really
important.
blessed to be a part of their family.
Can you talk about, if you're comfortable, can you talk about, or are you willing to talk about what you were fighting your case about? We don't have
when you go down when you go down the pathway of mental health, and it's easy to just be like, addiction, alcoholism, they struggled. But growing up in LA, I was subject to a lot of gang culture. My father was a Hell's Angel. So I grew up kind of tough.
a little bit.
I couldn't tell by looking at
Yeah,
you.
you're not intimidating at all.
I know this stuff can sound really extreme, like gun charges and drug dealing and drug trafficking, but yeah, it was stuff like that.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. I was saying to Mal earlier, I was like, Frank looks super scary, but he's so silly from what I've interacted with so far. You guys are you're so sweet, both of you. But
He's a big teddy bear.
Yeah.
He really is.
To some people.
that's true.
Yeah, to
true.
the right
Right.
people.
To your wife.
That's how my dad and Frank look similar.
Really?
My dad doesn't have the head tattoos and stuff, but just and I'll fucking kill you, but also I fucking
Same.
love you so much.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Very similar.
What I was going to say is that how different our cultures were, that when I moved to California and I lived there, and I remember one day I was like, this gang thing it's real.
It is.
There's really this is a
Wow.
real, because I didn't grow up around that. So,
Your father was a
Yeah.
doctor, right?
yeah, my father was a doctor.
So I
Yeah.
imagine that's probably very far removed from gang culture.
Yeah, well, we grew up very conservative, old school Latino family, very very traditional and very conservative. So that's
Yeah.
why I became a drug addict.
Yeah, I mean,
It's almost like you're submersed in it, and so therefore you're drawn to it, and you're unable to touch anything like that.
Do
So
anything.
you're like, I kind of gotta go ham right now.
So, I mean, I'm like,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes, right? Really though.
What was your Okay, being growing up in a conservative family and in a safe environment, what was your first dip your toe in the naughty pool? Was it drinking?
the
Was
naughty
it
pool.
drugging? Was
It was
like,
the wine at church.
Yeah. It was
Feel like I like this.
actually weed and wine coolers at my
Okay.
neighbor's
Wine
house,
coolers.
whose mom would let us drink. And,
Yeah.
yeah, and have
which is
fun.
like pretty
The cool mom.
The cool mom.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, I can't with the fucking cool mom.
Rather you drink in the house, it's like, oh my god, come on. Yeah.
I can't.
Exactly.
That's interesting. And then it kind of was like, I'm curious. Let's see more, see what I can do.
I actually didn't really drink that much. I guess like on the weekends and stuff like that in high school. But then after I graduated high school, I didn't drink at all. I
Yeah.
moved to Paraguay. I lived there for a while.
that's
Went
so
to
cool.
school there.
Yeah.
And then I moved back and I moved to Austin. And
Yeah.
it's like, who's going to stay sober in Austin? Like,
Yeah.
seriously.
I have never been exposed to so much cocaine in my life.
yes.
I
I didn't even know
Still
that
doing
Texas
coke.
loved cocaine
Yeah.
so
Oh my
much.
god.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They love
like grow the
cocaine.
fuck up. Oh my god.
I'm seeing it on my
Yeah.
TikTok, and I'm like, this is
It's
insane.
it's so stupid to me. I
Yeah.
remember I like have grew up around drunk people, not necessarily if the people that I knew that were doing drugs, they were doing heroin, and they're not doing heroin at the bar,
Right.
And then I came
Not
out
casually,
here,
like.
and I remember someone sitting across from me and quite literally did a key bump in front of me, and I was like, "Get me the fuck out of here!" Oh my god, I'm all set.
Yeah, I loved it. I
Oh,
just loved it so much.
so gnarly.
Yeah. No, but it didn't turn out very good for me.
right?
Yeah, I was surprised when I started going to AA meetings in Texas
Yeah.
at how much Texans loved cocaine.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, like, they're like old school Texans with cowboy boots, and
Yeah.
everyone's story
I didn't even think
involved
about that.
lots of cocaine. And I was
like
like,
the-
me neither. And I know Texas is a border town, just like California, but I just didn't ever put it together. A bunch
No.
of
Yeah.
cowboys would be sniffing
Very
cocaine.
Dallas
You know what I
Buyers
mean?
Club vibe, I
This
think.
horse ride is amazing.
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah,
lot of
no,
sobriety
it's-
too, though.
yeah.
There is a lot of sobriety.
There
Oh,
is
yeah,
a
yeah,
lot of
yeah,
sobriety.
but
Yeah.
I just didn't know there was such a part of the culture. But I guess it's a border town. You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it makes
Cartels
sense.
and cocaine.
I think I was like, I remember looking for, so I go to ACA, but I'm familiar with AA and
yeah,
everything,
ACA.
and I remember being like, where are the meetings? Because everyone's just fucked up all the time.
They're in a barn,
People are definitely
Yeah, pretty
enjoying
much they are in
themselves,
bars.
right?
Yeah.
But the meeting rooms out here, if you guys go to any meetings, they're
Yeah.
full typically.
Yeah.
I've never been to an ACA, but
So it's adult children of alcoholics
Yeah.
and dysfunctional families, and I highly recommend it. A lot of people that I'm friends with and familiar with that are in ACA, all are sober, from drugs and alcohol, and they all say, like, ACA. I was just talking to. They call them fellow travelers instead of sponsors. I was talking to one yesterday, and she was like, this shit is so much harder than AA and NA and that sort of stuff, because it's more of like the mental of it. It was made by a therapist like 30 years ago. And AA, NA, you do the 12 steps and you got to go through, versus ACA is very like recognizing your feelings and like I guess like the core root of like what molded you into that. So there's a lot of people there that have like 10 years or more, 14 years of sobriety with drugs and alcohol, and they're like, this shit's fucking wild, like life changing.
So Whitney, is that
awesome.
like,
I love that.
Yeah.
is that kind of like CODA, like trying to prevent yourself from ending up in like
Not-
unhealthy relationships with other people because your relationship with your parents were
It
alcoholic?
more so it focuses on, so CODA, a lot of people that end up in ACA found way through Al-Anon or CODA.
Yeah.
So it's more so like your parents are fucked up. Your parents put all their shit out on you. So that's why you are the way you are. But you don't have to move through life like that. Here's the tools so you can mentally get better. It's like a lot of us call it like mental sobriety versus like physical sobriety.
Yeah, I'm the journey never ends.
No.
You know? And like for me, like I've been tattooing 35 years. I'm 51 years old. And, you know, like I was sharing earlier, when I was a kid, my dad was like this crazy biker guy. But he was like a really successful. He was the editor for Easy Rider magazine.
Oh, sick.
You know,
That's
and
really
he was
cool.
like famous Hell's Angel. He had like
Damn.
Corvettes and boats, and he's been married like 8 times. You know, he's like Playboy
Mom
biker.
has too.
But the thing was, I grew up with these role models that were alcoholic, addict,
Hell yeah,
sex
yeah.
addicts,
Yeah.
and they were like, you know, you got to know how to do it. I mean, toxic masculinity is not even the word.
Yeah.
But it wasn't even. It was the men and the women. It was just a culture of, I don't know, you know, like
Just like
partying. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
The fast,
yeah.
whatever.
It
And then when I
is.
started tattooing, like I don't know if I shared with you earlier, I do have a strange relationship with Boston because the man that taught me how to tattoo was from Boston.
Yeah, he was a big deal
Yeah.
And he was like a famous like heroin chic guy. He tattooed all. I was like in West Hollywood. He tattooed all the models,
Very
and everyone was
handsome.
like bougie, heroin, skinny.
Yeah.
like,
This is
tattoo.
cool.
Always in a suit.
Yeah,
What-
his name's
what-
Mark Mahoney. He was.
Yeah,
he was
Google
in that
him.
movie
He's
Black
still-
Mass.
He's
He was like the first
dude.
guy to get wet.
That's a fucking big deal.
So I grew up like tattooing on celebrities. We'd have like
Oh,
Charlie
casual.
Sheen and Nicolas Cage and all these like high end guys, you know. But again, like addiction was there, and these were like my role models. And I grew up like you had to be tough, you had to handle it.
Yeah.
And it's like so watching everything evolve just in culture.
Yeah.
From the relationship with men and women.
Yeah.
From mental health, addiction. You know, now you go into the 90s, late 90s, everyone's getting sober. He went to rehab, Mark went to
Yeah.
rehab, got out, came work with me. And a friend of Mark's took me to my first NA meeting, Ron Sputo, who's now a great friend of ours still.
That's awesome.
So, I mean, like, back to, like, my kids. My oldest son and my oldest daughter are sober, and I'm realizing the journey continues
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
In my relationship with them and how, you know, the whole thing.
It
I mean,
goes
I can't
back.
blame my dad for my bad habits or addictions. They can't blame me, but now that we're like mental health advocates,
Yeah.
like I have to be like an example, and sometimes I'm not. Like I react to things like, oh yeah, well, but I'll be like, okay, would you like to go to therapy? You know,
Yeah. Oh my
if you want to go
God.
talk about it.
Just
you
saying
know,
that to your kids is so cool.
I try.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're like, "You're just trying to control me." I'm like, "I'm
trying to help
I
you."
don't know because I feel like anything I say is going to be wrong. So
Well, it's different
I need
when
a-
it's
we need a
coming from your
referee.
parent.
We get a referee.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
That's your job. You're like, hold on, everybody.
Yeah, but like I feel it. Though, like you know, when you're talking about, like I understand. Like the
It
journey
goes
continues.
back. It
you know?
does. It continues, but it goes back generations and generations. Again, the person I was talking to yesterday about this, she was talking about like she was doing her family history, and went all the way back to her like great grandparents, and she's like they were I don't know, like orphans, and then experienced like the Holocaust and this that,
Yeah.
and she's
Yeah.
like we didn't like that's just like you're born with trauma to a
Yeah.
certain level,
Humans
right?
experience a lot of trauma.
Yeah. But for you, growing up in the environment that you grew up, I'm sure you getting sober and now being like so in touch with mental health and like just overall being like having a much more gentle side to you. I'm sure that was probably challenging because of everyone that you surrounded yourself with or that you grew up around. They were probably pretty far removed from any of that, right?
Yeah, it's extremely challenging. Like even in the culture in the tattoo industry,
Yeah.
changed. And something about our nonprofit that we started, immediately we received a lot of support from all the other famous tattoo artists who are also sober.
That's great.
There's actually a great deal of sober people, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
in
Tattoo
the
artists.
tattoo community. And they've all shared their stories on our nonprofit page.
Oh, that's great.
And
It's
our
the We
nonprofit
Are the
page-
People, is it?
We Are
right?
Those People.
We are
yeah.
those
Yeah.
people. We
Yeah,
are
it's
those people.
We Are Those PPL on Instagram. But in the pandemic, mental health took a big dip
Oh, yeah.
because people couldn't go to meetings. And that's when our nonprofit, which we started in LA, but we really
Moved out
continued
here.
here in Austin, really
Yeah.
blew up.
Yeah.
Nice.
And we had all these people sharing their stories. and-
It's incredible. The amount of self-awareness and integrity and everything that it takes for someone to get sober or even recognize that that would be a good option is big. And Mal knows, like, when they're like, what kind of guy do you want? I'm like, a sober one sounds fucking sexy to me. Like,
Someone's got their shit together.
That's fucking awesome to me.
Well, yeah, and I see that oftenly too now. Like when I was younger, it was cool. The coolest guy was the guy that didn't give a fuck, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, getting high and drinking and fighting and
hooking up with a bunch of people.
But now I think like what's cool is like the guy that's like sober, healthy, eating healthy,
exercising,
going to the gym.
Yeah.
He's an entrepreneur. He's making money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Knows
It's
how to
funny
treat
how
a
it's
woman.
changed. It was like when you were a kid, it was very like rock and roll, cool.
Yeah, women were attracted to those men.
Yeah.
They were attracted to it. It's
Yeah,
like
it's totally
you can't even
shifted.
blame the guys. The women were attracted to it. The rock stars, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's changed and being an example in the tattoo industry.
Yeah.
To people, that reach out to us. I helped some tattooers get sober just this last week.
Wow.
And like a hipster barber
Yeah,
guy.
a hipster barber.
Like, you know what I mean? Like we're always
Yeah.
and that's what I mean, trying to be an example. And just the other day, someone asked me, a fireman at my gym, he asked me, he's having troubles in his marriage. He said, how often do you and Erika fight? I was like, never.
Yeah.
And if we do, we go straight to a therapist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we don't, because we are addicts and we like to feel good.
Yeah.
We don't want to live in a house where we can't stand
Yeah,
somebody.
of course.
We want to feel good, but also
Yeah.
we're supposed to be about solutions,
That's really
not
nice.
about problems.
That's so.
And at our age, you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
it's.
What did he say? Was obviously probably
He
appreciative.
was blown away
Yeah.
Yeah.
because a lot of people think it's normal to fight and have arguments.
Right.
But,
so much of what you see, even in like movies and like social media and stuff, it just like displays this whole like, no, love is when you're like toxic, like you're like arguing with like that's passion, and it's like no, that's fucked up actually.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like a trauma bond kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not good.
Is that, have you guys, sorry,
You're good.
quickly, what was I going to say? Before you guys met and kind of clicked, had you been in relationships prior while using that went terribly?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And it's like this is the complete opposite of that. So,
beautiful.
Yeah, I was in very toxic relationships all the time.
How did it feel in the beginning, like when you've come from such toxic relationships, and then when you meet a person and it's not? How do you recognize that? Like, how did you trust that?
I didn't.
Right.
I didn't. I was like, what does he want from me?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's not sex because like whatever.
Yeah,
like
right,
you don't really
right.
have to try that hard, But like when he went and he got my ring, I was like, yeah, he's trying really hard. Like this is
Well,
a
you
little
said you got
excessive.
married 6 months after you met.
Yeah, 6 months after we met.
I love that.
And mostly it was because our health insurance had cut us off from our so we could.
We even had the same health insurance. Like,
Yeah.
Oh my God.
2 peas in a pod.
Yeah.
literally.
So basically, what that meant when they cut us off of our health insurance, that meant that we couldn't be living in the sober living that we were living. So I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And he's like, come live with me. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And then he beat his case, and then he's like, we're going to go get married right now.
I love that.
You know, I was
that-
at work, and he's like, we're going to go get
He's like,
married
"Call
right
out
now. I was
sick,
like,
bitch, we're
okay,
getting married."
let's
Yeah.
do it. I was like,
What are you
wow.
wearing? I don't care. It doesn't need to be white.
And it felt unreal. It felt like I was in a dream, and like everything just kept on happening. That like the doors were just opening and opening and opening, and I was just like, wow.
That's so inspiring. It's
This
like
is
goosebumps.
sobriety. Like,
Yeah.
I guess this is what they've been talking about.
Yeah.
You know?
Had you tried to get sober multiple times?
Oh yeah, so many times.
Yeah.
That was my 5th treatment facility,
Wow.
inpatient. That's not counting the intensive outpatients, sober livings, psych wards, hospitals, all
Yeah.
the stuff.
All of that.
Do you think a big part of it being successful was him? Or
Oh yeah,
being together?
oh yeah,
I had
probably
had
it.
some
absolutely.
substantial sobriety prior, and so I had some experience, and I had done some. How I learned about nonprofit work is I was hanging out with like these Christian biker guys, down in Orange County by the beach.
They're called
And we had,
God's
like, a
angels
church.
or heaven's
Yeah,
angels.
it was like Christ's sons, the
of Hell's
saints. They had all these different names.
Good marketing.
But I mean, like, you know, they had these skater surfer churches, and I was taking my kids down there, but we were to help people get sober, help people do all this
Yeah.
good stuff. And so I'd had some experience. But the other thing that, like I shared earlier, I was finding a case.
Yeah.
And I wanted to fall in love, but I didn't want to get my hopes too high. And really, I wanted to help her. She was my friend. We were friends, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were in the same boat. And when she came to stay with me, I go, okay, you can stay with me.
For 3 months.
For 3 months.
Was she staying
and
in the
you can
same
save-
room? Where were you staying?
It was a studio apartment.
Oh, there we go.
We had like
No strings attached. I was like, why?
It's like bunk beds.
Well, it was really, really cute, though. It was like, oh, okay, you got 3 months, and, you know, you don't have to pay any bills, just save your money. And then she looked at me and she goes, well, can I get my bachelor's degree?
Oh.
So she was like, just like a few classes away. And I was like, oh my God, yes. Like, I want to be a part of that. You know what I mean? Helping someone. And she did it. And then, like I said, I got to go to her graduation. And then I'll just fast forward a little bit, which is another reason I'll say I love Texas, is that I was able to really support her even better here in Texas.
Yeah.
Things
'Cause you
that I
said-
could never do in California. Like,
Yeah.
we were able to buy a house, and she was able to go back to school and get her master's all in the same year.
Because tattooing is like so explosive here.
It's good. It's good. The cost of living is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
just makes. I could never do that in California.
No.
Right.
She
No.
would have had to go like part time, and you know what I
And
mean.
you'd have been
But-
struggling like still. And you're like, I'm
Yeah.
an adult. I should be able to afford the things that I want to
Yeah,
if
it
I'm
would have
working.
taken both of us to get a home loan in California. I was
Yeah.
able to do it all. And I was just like so proud and so proud of her.
Yeah.
Like when she got her master's, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your degrees? Your degrees are in?
I got a bachelor's degree in human services and a nonprofit administration master's.
Wow.
Oh,
And did you
very good.
always know, as you began the path of like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, you always kind of knew this was your...
Yeah, I
you know?
think I've always been somebody that volunteered for nonprofit organizations and things like that. But as far as like getting into nonprofit work, it just seemed like the natural thing to do since I had been through so much
Yeah.
in my own experience. And it just seemed like that was the natural like progression of my life,
So
you know?
it's like all,
Yeah.
it really did all click
Yeah.
in this like, beautiful
Yeah.
way for you guys.
Yeah.
So the nonprofit that you guys have now, and you say you help people get sober, what does that look like? Like, are you finding them like detox centers, or what does that look like?
So people will reach out to us just because they know that we are somebody that has the resources and know people and things like that. But also it's just like a part of our program. It's just kind of what we do.
Yeah.
So people will reach out and we just kind of connect people and things like that. But mostly we're like a community,
Yeah.
like an online community.
Very good.
And we
Network,
just
yeah.
Yeah,
That's great.
Very good. So you do, I'm sure this is maybe something that you love now, being sober, burlesque. Yes, talk about that.
I love it's
Yes.
like my new love, the new love of my life.
Oh
I
my
love it.
God.
I did burlesque back in Boston
I
as well.
I know.
I've only done it like once or twice since moving out
You
here
need
to Austin.
to get
I
back
need
into
to.
it.
Oh,
You
I
really do.
love
And
it.
I've seen
Thank
some
you.
of your pictures and
Thank you.
my God.
Thank you.
You've got to
I'm
make a
I'm
comeback.
getting my shit back together now. I'm trying. Yeah. So tell us more about that. How'd that start, and what do you love about it?
So, how did that start? That started, I actually did a photo shoot with Amanda Aguirre, who goes
Okay.
by Manderbot, and she was with Miss Mandy. And Mandy, I think you know
Yeah.
Mandy.
Yeah. I love
She's
Mandy.
also my hairstylist.
She's fucking awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
She's awesome.
Yeah.
She started.
Mandy's husband does the Texas Hill show that's going on right now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So Mandy and I actually used to work together,
Oh.
and when we worked together was when she started to get into burlesque, and I was
Oh,
like,
wow.
"Yes, bitch, do
Yes.
it." Yeah, and she's
Really?
fucking killing it with
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
But also, Erika also works at another bigger nonprofit here in Austin.
Yeah, I also, so for my daytime job, I work at a nonprofit, which we work with people in transitional living from homelessness
Very good.
that have medical conditions.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
So just provide like caseworker care, basic necessities, HIV care, things
wow.
like that. Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
what I do during the day, and then I get to do burlesque.
You like have 2 uniforms, the day uniform, and then you can
Then we
transition.
strip out of the day
Some
uniform
of the
into
girls
the
I
tassels,
work-
baby.
Some of the other trans girls she work with, they do drag shows too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So it's like this
we
huge
love.
community
Yeah.
that we didn't know about.
Yeah,
And it's a lot of fun.
it's fucking
Like,
awesome.
it's pretty cool. Like,
Because
you know?
people,
awesome.
a lot of people who, when I moved here, they're like, you're going to Texas, it's so conservative, it's so
Not
not
Austin.
artistic.
Not Austin.
Yeah,
But
no.
not Austin, which is such a cool place to be.
Yeah.
There's the coolest people
So
here.
I started at a place called Sass and Strut.
I've taken
it's-
classes there.
Have you?
Really?
Yeah,
I
from
wanna look it up.
Fig.
I wanna
A couple-
Cerise and Fig,
Yeah,
those are my moms.
Very
Even though
good.
they're younger than me.
They're
but
awesome.
yeah, so that's kind of how I started. Then I started doing, their showcase, and then I did a performance at Boner Bazaar, and that was Zoya helped me. So now I'm a member at Black Box, which is mostly pole.
Yeah.
So now I'm doing that.
Stephanie does that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Stephanie.
Yeah.
Actually, when I got my tattoo with Stephanie, she told me about Black Box, and I was like, I
Yeah.
should try that out one day.
Dude, it's
That's
hard.
amazing.
I went with
hard.
her.
Yeah.
I'm a fucking 600-pound man trapped in this body with no muscle, the upper body strength, but I want to do it again.
Let's do it.
Yeah, bitch,
Yeah.
I'll do
Come
all
on,
the things,
anytime.
please.
Come with me. It's like the joy of my life.
Yeah.
How did it feel doing your first burlesque performance?
I was so scared, but also I felt like this, like it felt like so natural to
Yeah.
me. I felt like this is what I should be doing.
Yes.
Like, who knew that like taking off my clothes was going to be so much fun?
Yes.
Like so liberating.
It's like it is like a high though too, being on the stage doing it, and it's like super vulnerable, but you're in control.
Yeah.
It's sick.
Yeah, and it's also like it's kind of like everything that, like it's unprogramming. Unprogramming all of these things, that you're supposed to be as a woman in society. It's like you break down those barriers just by like stripping.
Yeah. It's awesome.
almost like the biggest fuck you.
It really is.
Right?
It fucking really
And this is my
is.
body, and this is what it looks like now.
Oh my God.
And I'm not 18. It's just,
It
it's so
really
inspiring.
is the biggest fuck you.
Yeah.
I remember my first performance. I was so stoked on it, and I've wanted to do it forever. It was something like I'm obsessed with Dita Von Teese, and I was like, I want to do this. And then finally, I was like, I'm gonna. And it was like an hour before my show, and I got the nastiest text from someone close in my family, being like, "You're just a stripper. You're not Dita Von Teese. You're never gonna be her. Da 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 da. We're
Fuck that.
disappointed."
Wow.
And I was like, "Fuck you!"
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah.
a competition too that I was doing, and I fucking won that shit.
yeah.
And then, but it was
Of
just
course
like,
you did.
fuck you.
Of course you did. Yes. Yes.
It's
so
a good
fun.
way to weed out the haters and the toxic people in your life.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
You know what
yeah.
I mean? Because they're going to be the first ones. They're going to try to make you feel bad about yourself and try to make you feel ashamed of
To
yourself.
doubt.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know
I mean,
what I mean?
there's always the people who are like, "Oh my God, that's incredible," and then
Yeah.
the people that are like, "What?"
And
Yeah,
you
you
know
can't
who
do
Who do you
that.
think you are?
You know
Maybe
who
they
are
were
the-
always that way, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The biggest supporters too, there's like such a stigma that it's like, you're just a whore doing this for men. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm in front of women and gay men. Like,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
like,
it's a huge queer community
right?
thing.
It's
Yeah.
Everybody thinks it's,
majority.
And
Yeah.
they're so comfortable, and they're not doing it for any ulterior reason, and they're just there to support you.
yeah, and it's just so fun.
But also respect for the strippers that like pave the way, you
Oh,
know,
of
for the
course.
people
Yeah.
that like allow us to be here,
Definitely.
and
Yeah.
to be able to do it.
Absolutely.
you know?
I
Yeah.
love the people that cross paths with it, that are their job is they're strippers,
Right.
you know, sex workers, all that different stuff. And then they're like, okay, now I'm going to go perform, and like this is my fun thing that I
Creative,
do.
yeah.
Totally.
Creative outlet. Yeah.
Well, for me, it's like the gym is a big part of our sobriety and our mental health, and having like watching Erica even transform with that. Like she wasn't a big gymmer when we first got married, and then seeing her like feel really proud of herself to get out on
Yeah.
stage and you know, it's like healthy.
That's
Of
really
course.
great.
And
yeah,
for me
like
as a
therapy.
tattoo artist, you know, you go to this burlesque show, you know, here in Austin, and everyone's tattooed.
Yeah. Yep.
And everyone's like in
Yeah.
cute outfits.
Yep.
And it reminds me of the punk rock scene in the 80s
yeah.
and 90s.
And everyone's just
everyone's
like-
got their own clothes they've like made.
Yeah.
You know?
It's so creative.
It's so like
And
eclectic.
I'm like, this is cool.
Yeah.
Like,
It is
you
so
know
cool.
what I mean?
It's like everyone's not afraid to show the art
Express
that they have and
themselves.
express themselves. Yeah.
We went to this one show that stands out to me. It was down in Martinique, Martindale. Have
okay.
you been to Martindale?
No.
It's a little river
Duets.
town just south.
Duets.
Yeah, Duets in
Steph was
Martindale.
just there last
Okay,
night.
Really?
Yeah.
It's such a
It
cute
looked wicked
little bar,
cute.
restaurant.
So cute. So
A
cute.
little
Super
river
cute,
town
yeah.
you haven't heard of, just outside of Austin.
Oh my God.
And there was this young, healthy crowd, mostly female,
Yeah.
tattooed. There was like some indie like magazine Peach Fuzz there.
Oh, sick.
And
That's
like
cool.
you know, and I'm just, for me as a tattooer, as a man, I'm looking around going, dude, everyone's tattooed and everyone's creative and everyone's
sick.
cool.
Yeah.
This is good.
Yeah.
It's
I like
so
this.
cool.
It's interesting. And then there was even like this one, I don't know, even one of the models that were in one of the magazines ended up coming to get tattooed by me. And it's just been great.
That's
like
awesome.
for me as a tattoo artist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was like almost like we'd been here for how long before we found
5
it?
years.
5 years, and we just found this awesome creative scene here in Austin.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool. Dude.
Yeah.
so cool to be a
it
part
is
of it.
really cool.
Yeah, yeah, it's been good.
Oh, and so you, talking about tattooing a little bit, how long have you been tattooing for?
35
35 years.
Wow.
Yeah, and so my son is Frank Ball Jr. He tattoos as well, and he's still in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
He's also sober.
Awesome.
Very good.
And then my daughter, she's 29. She lives here in Austin, and she tattoos and does the cosmetic tattooing. Her name's Maxine.
Awesome.
Maxine Angel Ball. So, like we were sharing earlier, you know, when I started tattooing, things were a lot different. And like I went to Boston, and it was illegal. And I
Yeah.
tattooed in a loft in Chinatown.
Oh, man.
Oh, and it was crazy.
What
sick,
year?
And I mean, people were drinking hard, dude.
Yeah.
It was like late 90s, like
Okay.
98, 97.
I always like look up when it was illegal and then I forget and I'm like,
Well,
people,
I
it was
know, I
frequent.
know
realize
it
it
was
was
27
illegal.
years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it was right before my youngest daughter was born.
Wow.
And my youngest daughter, she's the only one that doesn't tattoo, but she went to Mills College in Oakland and got her bachelor's in performing arts, and she does stage and lighting.
Very
that's
cool.
So she tours with bands all
That's
over.
sick.
She's always coming through Austin with some
Yeah.
band.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so 27 years ago, and I was working in Manhattan at New York Adorned, which is really cool. The owner, Lori, just messaged me the other day. But I mean, like, we were making so much money because it was illegal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I used to work in Miami. There was only one shop
Oh my
on
God.
South Beach. Imagine tattooing in South Beach. I mean, have you guys been to Miami?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
South-
beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, and it is like sexy AF. Right?
Yeah.
Tropical.
Yes.
You're just like, whoa.
beautiful.
You're just, I mean, to go from LA, like a young man to there, I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't have Mexicans, they had Cubans. And it was like, whoa. But I mean, we'd make so much money because the market wasn't oversaturated.
Right.
That's so sick.
There
Yeah.
wasn't no tattoo TV shows. There wasn't.
And even if your
you
prices
know?
are cheap compared to now,
You're the
still
only
making-
shop.
Oh,
you're the
yeah,
only
yeah,
shop.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like when I started tattooing, the minimum was like $25. Now it's $100.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, but I even remember being in Manhattan and the minimum was $70. I was like, wow, that's $70. That's
That would make so
lot.
much money.
Yeah, but I mean, that was before cell phones,
Yeah.
before the internet, and we tattooed behind sliding doors in a piercing studio because it was underground. Yeah. it
Did you
was-
ever get like found or did you
Yeah.
did the cops
How
like,
was tattooing when it was illegal?
Yeah, we didn't have any problems really.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was just kind of like a gray area.
funny?
But it sucked though, like, you know, like when I started to have kids and stuff and you'd want to open up in a nice location. No.
Yeah.
The zoning was
Yeah.
not having
Yep.
it. Then in the early 2000s, some guy took it to Supreme Court. And I think it was right around the time the tattoo TV shows came out.
Yeah.
They changed that. They overruled it, that they couldn't do that. So now it's just more mainstream, which is awesome. More people are getting tattooed. It's more accepted. You know, you watch the Olympics.
Yep.
You're right.
Athletes
Yep.
are tattooed.
Right.
You know, more positive role models. But, you know, things get oversaturated.
Yeah.
And the market gets kind of harder to work in, you know?
Have you you've got a shop on 6th Street?
Yeah, I worked for a guy there. So this is like another story I'll tell.
Yeah.
Like I came to work in Austin on 6th Street when they used to shut the street down and it was busy and we would just tattoo like 300 people in a week. But that's all changing now.
Really?
Yeah.
Some company, Stream Realties, bought up all of downtown Now they're not shutting 6th Street down anymore.
Yeah, it was open the other day. I was like, the fuck's going on here?
They ran out. They're running out all the old like bars and they're doubling the
rent of
the
everything.
rent. Yeah, and
Everything's like a shiny condo.
Now the city did intervene and said this is historic, but that didn't stop them. Like they have to keep the front entrances, but they're going to build up
Yeah,
and condos
that
like at the Domain.
Yeah, that
and
fucking sucks.
So now we're moving on June 1st down to East 6th after being there for like 30 years.
Yeah.
It's like one of the oldest tattoo parlors
And
in
that
Austin.
the shop
Good to keep
that
them
you're
going,
at, it from what I've experienced of it, it still kind of has that like old school feel to it. Like you're tattooing till like midnight, right? It's a
gnarly.
walk-in.
Yeah, it was gnarly. I was like,
Yeah.
whoa, this is crazy, you know. But man, it was definitely the juice that I needed to move to Austin.
Yeah.
It was the busiest tattoo shop in Austin. I assume that we still will be the busiest tattoo shop in Austin at the new location.
Yeah.
But it might be a little different. I mean, East Austin's cracking.
Oh yeah.
I do
Like
love
it's
it
right.
there.
It's gonna be right across the street from Suerta.
Oh, nice.
In like a really
love it
nice
there.
house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going from being in this gnarly old building that was hot in the summer, no AC, to this nice house and central AC, and you know there's outdoor seating in all the bars and restaurants.
It's gonna be
There
fun.
wasn't no outdoor seating in
No.
downtown.
Yeah.
we had the homeless.
Yeah, the
fucking-
homeless people sleeping in front of
yeah.
it.
So
Yeah.
it'll be a new experience. You know,
Yeah.
new adventure.
Fun, though.
But it'll be another story. You'll be like, man, I remember.
Yeah.
tattooing on Dirty Six.
Right? When I had a
Yeah,
question.
really
Yeah, it was
though.
crazy.
Yeah,
Saw some
it
crazy
was
shit.
wild.
Like
yeah.
I would bring out tattooers from like LA and like we'd be like renting those scooters and like mobbing all around. There's all these crazy people, you know, drunk, and we're like, wow, this is crazy.
Are there any
good.
like memorable tattoos in your whole career that stand out? Like when you were really young, or any first tattoos you've given to people, or anything like.
You know, people ask me that.
The people want to know.
I know they're like any crazy, shit, and you're like, no, not really.
There's this one thing that always pops in my mind. Is I was tattooing in Orange County at this shop that was supposed to be like a Christian tattoo shop. When I met her, it was
What the
called
fuck's a
Agape Art
Christian
Collect.
tattoo
We just do
dude,
crosses.
I'm telling you, Orange County has this like cool Christian, you know? That's why it's so different, like when I would talk to people from Texas, because, they feel so oppressed
Yeah.
by the red government here and the Bible Belt. But in Orange County, I never heard anything about abortion. Nobody ever talked about any politics.
Yeah.
It was just like, get sober, don't cheat on your wife, stay with your family, good stuff. But it was like surfers, skaters, bikers. They had tattoos, like Christian Asoy, the famous skaters down there. So anyway, I'm tattooing. There's like this big cross on the wall, and this group of young women come in, and they said they wanted to get a tattoo on their inside of their lip.
Okay.
So it's 5 girls.
Were you like, no?
We charge $200 for those, so
Yeah.
that's $200,000
Yeah.
bucks. It takes like 5 minutes, but it's super awkward getting in the mouth. And I
it
told them,
lasts
okay,
like
yeah,
4
sure, I'll
days.
do it for you guys. $200. They're like, okay, cool. I'm like, sweet, $1,000.
Yeah.
I'm like, what'd you want to get? And they're like, penis. I'm like, you want me to tattoo penis in all of your mouths right now?
You're like,
I
are you
was like, I don't know why it always stands out in my
Yeah,
brain. Like,
right.
it's so weird. You know what
Were
I mean?
they like girls with no other tattoos? Like
They were
Yeah,
nuts.
yeah,
It
they
was
all
a
look like
Christian
nice
shop.
little beachy, like college girls.
Oh my
And I'm
God.
like, this is like a Christian. Oh, never mind. Okay, let's do it. Sure, you want penis in your mouth? I'll do it. Let's do it. I don't know. It always sticks out in my mind.
That
like,
is so funny.
man.
It was just
And
the
then
weirdest.
How long did it take each of their moms to find
Oh,
out?
yeah.
Oh,
What
my
did you
God.
I
do?
don't know.
Longer
After
than
people
their
are like,
boyfriends.
Yeah, no, I don't know. It was weird.
That's really
Yeah, it's
funny.
always stood out in my mind.
Oh my
I love I love seeing stories of like moms, grandmas, old women in their, later years in life, and they're like, I'm gonna get a tattoo because it's more accessible, it's less intimidating now, you see more women with tattoos. So I think it's so cool when women are like, I've been thinking about this
They're
my
like,
whole
"Fuck
life, I'm
it."
fucking gonna do it. It's
I
so
tricked
cool.
my mom into getting her first tattoo. And
Did you?
Yeah, she's like in her 60s, and she kept saying she wanted one, and I'd make her appointments with my friends, and then she'd fucking no-show them. So I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna get a tattoo, so just come with me so you can see it. And I was like, plot twist, bitch, it's for you, and the stencil's right there. So she had to do
Intervention.
it. Yeah, intervention.
What was
for
it?
her. Just my brother and I's name in a heart.
Cute.
Like, whatever.
That's awesome.
She can't be mad at that.
What is? Sorry, Frank. You say.
Well, no, that was just to touch on what you were saying. That's what's interesting tattooing here in Austin is, especially in the area I'm in, we get all the tourists, and they're two of the biggest spots to go for a bridal shower, a bridal party.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
is
God.
Austin and Nashville.
Yeah.
So we get groups of like 5 or 10 women,
Oh, God.
sisters, mothers.
Yeah, how many
everybody,
Roman
and they
numerals
come
do
in
you
and they
think
want to
you've
get these little tattoos. I mean, like, and it's like, sure, you know what I mean?
You
you
must
mind
be.
it?
Yeah, you're probably
I don't
really
mind
good.
at all. I like
Cool.
making people feel
Yeah.
feel good. You know, they have a good experience.
That's what I think is
You
good.
know?
You're a good role model in that way. You want someone to have a fun memory and an experience and a bond with their family or their bachelorette party, whatever. And it's not beneath you.
That's another topic in the tattoo industry because a lot of people, they aspire to be these appointment only tattoo artists, but yet they have no appointments.
Yes.
Like, what is an appointment? If you're an appointment only tattoo artist and you work in an appointment only shop and you have no appointments, I think that's called a failure.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is or not successful.
inaccessible.
Like where I'm 51. Like if a group of, and they're all like really nice people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're really nice, healthy people, good American folks. They come from Illinois or I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? North Carolina, you know, nice women. They want to get a nice little tattoo. Hell yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
I love that.
I want to do it for you, do it clean, have a good experience,
Right.
be efficient, you know, tell a few jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
way. And that's good money. You know what I'm saying?
You're making
Definitely.
money. You're
It's
making them happy.
consistent.
Yeah, making my wife happy.
Yeah.
Life's good.
That's great.
It's healthy.
Right.
It's a good living. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, of course, I love doing big projects and I love doing my artwork, but hey, man, like I just want a tattoo.
Seeing
You know what I mean?
seeing the tattoos that you post on your story of like, you know, the bride that's in and she's getting like breathe tattooed on her. This is not at all what I was expecting to see on your story. And I was like, but he fucking kills it. It's clean as shit. And it looks so like
Most of the time, like guys wouldn't post those; they would only post their custom stuff.
of course, yeah.
Part of me posts it for the haters.
Good.
I love that.
You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
they're like, they're somewhere, they're not making money, they're not stoked, and I'm like, I'm making money. I'm having a good time.
Yeah.
Life's
Everybody
good.
happy?
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
You know,
Right.
You know,
That's
I can
great.
buy nice things for my wife. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Life's
definitely.
good.
That's
you know?
great. Like that
and
beautiful
it's
bag
fun,
that you
you know?
brought. Hell yeah.
You know, and it's just good business. You know,
It
there's
is.
a lot of things in life that you can do for a living that are really not fun. You know what I mean?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
not one of them.
Yeah.
Tattooing a bridal shower or party is not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could be doing open heart surgery.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah.
You could be an accountant. Like, come on. So I don't want to keep you guys too long, but so I guess to wrap up, I would like to hear, since getting sober, what is something that you're like most proud of, like your biggest accomplishment that like has filled your cup and makes you feel whole and like it all came full circle and worth it.
You go first.
Well, I would definitely say my marriage.
Yeah.
You know, I'm really proud that both my older children are sober. I'm proud of all my children. They're all doing very well.
How many do you have? 3?
3.
Nice.
They're all adults. They're all self-sufficient, and they're doing really well.
That's
I
great.
mean, I don't like to brag, but they're doing well.
Yeah, you should brag about
And
it.
that's awesome. But my marriage is my number one, you know what I mean, accomplishment in life. You know, I mean, in my last relapse, I did go to prison for like 8 months, and I identified in my life the common theme wasn't just drugs and alcohol or tough guy gang stuff.
Yeah.
It was my relationship with the opposite sex and falling into bad toxic patterns and I made a deal with God that if he gave me another crack at life, I was going to make good and be a good man to a woman. And,
yeah.
and so to have what I share with Erika today is my biggest accomplishment. Being able to own a beautiful home.
That's amazing.
To be your neighbor.
Yeah.
Here in
Yeah,
Austin.
be neighbors.
You know what I mean? I mean, it's
beautiful.
Life's good.
Yeah.
Like, and you know, Eric and I, you know, I mean, sobriety is, there's always obstacles, you know. And I've learned that the more I just focus and stay in my lane, my lane's pretty sweet.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
My lane's pretty sweet.
I'd
My
want
life's
this chick
pretty
in my
good,
lane.
you know?
Come on.
You know? And
Yeah,
it's like,
really though.
You know, we help corporately who we can help together. We help individually who we
Yeah.
can help. And we just try to live a transparent life
Yeah.
and be an example to others, to tattooers, to anybody, you know,
Yeah.
husbands, fathers, women, Erica's an example of women, but together we're just happy.
Yeah.
You know
That's
what I mean?
like the most powerful thing.
Yeah, especially, at our age, you meet a lot of married people that aren't happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a drag.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Oh my God. How can I like
Top that.
how can I top that?
top
I mean, and yes, of course. I mean, I think that our marriage, it's like we're a team. We're definitely a team, and we do everything together. And yeah, I would say also just my relationships that I have with my family now today, which took a lot of work, and then just having clarity and being able to be proud of myself
Yeah.
for just doing the right thing.
Yeah, and Erica's
And just all
working
the
on.
things that we get to do today.
Yeah.
Sobriety.
Yeah.
Right.
It wouldn't be possible without it,
Wouldn't be
right?
possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like I said earlier, when you invited me on, I'm like, can I bring my wife?
Yeah, I know.
We're a lot cooler together, you know?
Yeah.
I can sit here and tell
Please.
cool guy tattoo stories.
Please.
Let's talk about her.
Yeah, no.
But Erica's working on a few projects in the near future.
Tell us.
Yeah. Okay. So this
Plug
is just
all the things,
Okay.
please. And we would
Any upcoming shows?
Yeah.
Whatever
and
you're
we would
performing.
love to have you come back, just girls yapping too.
Oh my
yeah.
God.
No,
Yeah.
thank Frank,
Thank
it
you
was
so
fun
much.
having you, but
We have a guy quota. It's only a couple, but girls
we
are
only do
limited.
like 2 guys like every 6 months. So
Thanks, you guys. That's awesome. Thank you. Actually, June the 14th, I'm going to be doing a group performance at Black Box Creative.
Okay.
Mark, we have a
Yeah.
fucking joint calendar like a couple, and
Yeah.
she's,
Oh,
probably-
yeah.
she's
I'm
putting
gonna-
it in the calendar right now.
Yeah, so that, and then planning for We Are Those People in September. We want to do an art exhibit. We've usually
Yeah.
had like a video screening of people sharing their stories.
Nice.
But this time we want to do an art show, which I think
That'd be
we'll be
cool.
asking people to submit
Yeah.
their artwork and things like that.
Definitely.
And then the other thing that we have done, this is something that I've manifested also with Frank, that I want to start producing. I want to start producing. Yeah.
Film.
Burlesque shows.
Okay.
I offer myself
cool.
as tribute.
Really?
Please.
Yes.
Yes. No, really.
Oh
I
my
offer
God.
myself as
I
tribute.
would love
Yeah.
that. So
Oh, I would love it.
I thought about it so much. I took a class at Black Box with Zoya, who's incredible. They've done Boner Bazaar for 10
Yeah,
years
yeah.
now. They're going to be celebrating 10 years. Took a class with them and was like, I think I want to do this,
Yeah.
you know?
And I can
So,
do this.
Yeah.
I love
So
that.
manifesting that to
Yes,
happen.
dude, manifesting is real.
It is real.
So real.
It really is.
Yeah.
So I got an LLC. It's called Eternal
yeah.
Embrace Entertainment.
Oh my God.
Which is a nod to the Grim Reaper.
Yeah, sick.
And so yeah, baby steps,
Yes.
right?
No,
I don't
it's
want to just
incredible.
think about it. I want to actually do it.
Yes.
So it's
Yeah.
in motion right now. I'm talking with some friends who are in the scene, and
I
love
would
to
know
have
truly
you.
love,
Yes, really.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And help out in any way, shape, or
do it.
form.
Oh my God,
please.
it's totally
Yes.
gonna happen.
Yeah,
That would be
thank
fucking
you.
awesome.
I'll let you guys know
Yeah.
if any
Yes.
upcoming things.
Yeah, yeah,
Thank
cool.
you.
Oh my God, you guys are amazing.
Any last things you want to say? Any shout outs, plugs, anything?
Well, I will be tattooing in Sacramento at the Cap City
Oh, sick.
Tattoo Convention at the end of the month.
Very good.
So that's May 29th, 30th through June 1st.
Okay.
Nice.
And then I'll also be doing the New Mexico Tattoo Fiesta Tattoo Convention in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Nice.
so much
And I
fun.
believe it's July 11th, 12th, and 13th.
All
Very
right.
good.
So
Cool,
you can
cool,
catch
cool.
me there.
Yeah,
Other
reach
than
out.
tatting in Austin full time.
Yeah, right. Other than
Yeah.
the full time job.
And my son, he has 5-ball racing leathers and 5-ball tattoo studios. He's got a location in Venice, and we're opening up a new location
That's
in
awesome.
Melrose. So
That's
I'll
great.
also be
Oh,
working
sick.
there.
Oh, that's
Very good.
awesome. Big
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, lots of fun.
Yeah.
Booming.
Exciting things.
Yeah, and you're
Sober, sexy, beautiful things.
yes, we love that.
Yeah, yeah.
And
let's do
I
it.
want you to say one last the Instagram of your nonprofit so people can look that up.
Sure.
Say-
It's We Are Those PPL.
perfect. Cool.
Yeah, and I'm at Frank Ball.
Yes.
Yeah.
Erica, do you have an Instagram you want to share?
I
Yeah,
have
go ahead.
Erika Ball 73 and I have my dance.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah,
We got all the
it's-
slutty girls listen, please.
Yeah, hell
Yeah.
Esoterica_moves.
Perfect.
Okay. I'm
Erica
writing
with
all
a
this
K.
down.
Erica with a K. Awesome.
You
All
guys
right.
rock.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
No,
This
thank
was
you.
so much fun.
We really appreciate anyone that's like willing to do this, and especially you guys. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
We're neighbors
some
now.
people
We're
your
going to
way.
hang
I
out and
love it.
brainstorm and
Yeah.
have some barbecues.
Yeah.
Yes, I did
Go
not think I'd be
swimming.
sitting on a couch in Austin with Frank Ball and his wife ever. So
hell
my
yeah.
life's
I
coming
know.
full circle too.
Like, this is the coolest
that's
thing.
awesome.
Well, thank you. Thank
I
you
know.
guys.
You
Thank
guys
you for having us.
Yeah,
Of course.
thank you.
Anytime we'll have y'all back after you get your producing going, after you've moved into your shop, after
Yes.
everybody's
Yeah, we'll
doing
catch
all the
up.
things we're
Yes,
going to
Catch
do.
we'll
up.
do a
Yeah,
we'll do a
follow-up.
catch-up.
We'll do a
Yeah.
follow-up.
For sure.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
Hell
Well,
yeah.
thank you. Bye. Bye.